I'm Ron Walker. We're down at Prairie Arts making some wild clay. The Prairie Arts Center is a nonprofit community arts center run between the city of Stillwater and cooperation with Oklahoma State University. We're working on the awards for the Mid-South. Turns out there's a lot of categories, so there's a lot of pieces to make. But first we got to make the clay. The rest will be easy. I'll bring you up to speed on what we've done so far. We've gathered the clay. This came from the Block 34 site, and what you're kind of looking for in wild clay is that it breaks at sharp angles and has a minimum amount of organic matter in it. Then we crush the clay, not into a powder, but just break it down a little bit and put it into a bucket, submerge it with water. You can see there's also a little bit of gravel in here. So we're gonna just quickly mix the top, try not to drag the bottom material back in. And then to get other large particles out, we're gonna run it through a screening operation. And then we'll spread it out on this sheet that we've put some material under so the air can get through it. And it will dry for about a week, depends on the weather. And then we gather that up and go to the pug mill with it. I've come to appreciate the local nature of the clay. I did some research and found an old quarry along Stillwater Creek where they made bricks in like 1890s. So if you walk down the streets of Stillwater, particularly in the alleys, you'll see that very brick. And you can recognize it by the color. So it's been a fun journey just to learn and realize what we're walking on every day or riding bikes on is, it's not just dirt, it's clay. So this is clay that we've gathered off of our drying sheet, and it's just about workable, but just a little too wet still. And it's going to be uneven, some harder, some softer. So we're going to run it through this pug mill, mix it all together, add the amount of dry material we need to make it workable. It's basically just like a big bread mixer. Very powerful. And you see how it's holding itself together. If it had a lot of organic matter or too much sand, it would start falling apart. If I can wrap this around my finger without it breaking, that's what we're looking for. Okay, so we've gathered our clay, we've slacked it down once, then we stirred it back up, ran it through the screens, spread it out to dry, and now we run through the pug mill, and what we're gonna go through a couple times, but what comes out we'll be ready to use. Our next step will be, we'll start rolling out slabs. This clay has been through the pug mill, and we're gonna just do a very light wedging just to make sure everything's blended together.
This is a slab roller. It's kind of like a big pasta roller where we flatten the clay out to a particular thickness.
This is a 3D printed stamp that Kicker, a local international actually speaker company, made for us. And Jim's adding more cornstarch, which just serves as a release for our stamps. So the cornstarch really gives us a clean relief and clean line. So the stamps allow us to move along pretty quickly. But the concept here was the riders and the runners would have spent a long day looking at this same clay with tire prints, footprints through it. The cornstarch will completely burn away early in the firing, and there won't be any evidence of it. Commercial clay that you would buy has been chemically analyzed, where each batch is going to be the same. With what we call wild clay, which is local clay, its character can change a lot from site to site, and even depending on the depth. So it's a little less predictable, but I think that's one of the things we really like about it. So we'll let these air dry, which take 3 or 4 days.
Well, I've never worked with wild clay before. It's an interesting experience. This clay is a little hard to work with because it's so gritty from all the dirt. I actually pulled out a rock earlier while I was throwing it. Luckily it didn't hurt me, but it's still a rock in there. You don't usually find rocks in your clay, but yeah, it was really fun.
Now we're gonna take these to the kiln, load it up, and fire them. Since we're not glazing these, we can do this in a single firing. We'll make it go slow, but it will go to 2200 degrees approximately. Okay, this kiln has fired and cooled off, so we'll get a look at the finished product. It's always exciting to see what color you're gonna get with the wild clay. I like it. You can hear the difference now, how hard they are. These should be vitreous. We're very proud to have gotten to participate in the Mid-South, and we hope people will appreciate all the work that went into this. I know they've all worked hard if they earned one of these. Cool thing about it is this is the actual dirt that they've been riding on for 100 miles.